Yes, I can see them
Oh,
here.
you can. Okay, so
What do you suggest is the most important thing to do in your first month? In your first month, Emma, you, like I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you have a schedule for how your routine is going to be. You want to know exactly when you're going to be prospecting. If you don't have any services that give you any for sale by owner, expireds, or any neighborhood data, um, perhaps door knocking, or figure out exactly who you are going to be prospecting or calling. That's what I would recommend for you to do in the first month specifically, because that's really going to kind of build that foundation for you and push you. And it might happen that you might come across people that are rude or yell at you, but you have to know that you will always come across people that are very emotional, and you can't take things personal.
yeah, and let me tell you one more thing. So, adding to that, something that I did, I started shadowing someone who had more experience,
Mhm.
someone who was better talking to people. So he was on the phones and I was able to listen. At the same time, role play your scripts. This is your first month,
Yeah.
unless you were practicing before getting licensed. You need to know your scripts. And as the time goes by, you're gonna get better and better and better. And at some point, you won't need a script anymore. But I guess I'm gonna say half of the time you want to divide it between prospecting and role playing. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Role playing, training, getting better at what it is that you're doing as a real estate agent.
Gotcha. There's another question. What would you say social media may be better in terms of prospecting right now because of COVID?
Um, Social media, actually, no. With us, we're still making calls. And what has happened is that initially in the beginning of COVID, a lot of agents stopped prospecting. So it was like more people for us to contact. Right now, you should continue making the calls if you can, if you have a service or if you have phone numbers, continue making the calls and prospecting, because there's still people that need to buy and there's still people that need to sell. I'm not sure how it is in your market, but out here, I mean, inventory is low. We're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing bidding wars. So if you are working with a buyer, I know it happens for us. I am prospecting and calling different neighborhoods, trying to see if I can get anything off market for my buyers, just because there's very low inventory. So social media is definitely a great way to generate leads, but that would definitely not be my number one priority.
Yeah.
So Jay, I mean, there's other ways, especially if you're newer. I would hit the phones or hit the doors or work your
And
sphere of influence.
yeah, and being newer, I'm assuming whoever asked this doesn't have a lot of followers, right? And even you that have a lot of followers, I mean, actually, how many leads do you get from social media? It's not going to be that many, correct?
From social media, from YouTube, they mostly come from YouTube, from my YouTube videos, and I get a lot of referrals from agents. It happens maybe two to three times a month now, but it's not something that I had
You
worked
can rely
for.
on,
It just happens. It's not
of
something that I'm
course.
like, okay, this month I hope that I'm getting all these leads, because no, that's not how it is. I'm still prospecting for my business.
Of course, of course. Let's see. Any other questions here? Someone asked, let's see, what's the most inexpensive online school now? I would say is Real Estate Express, right?
Yeah, you can go through them. I'm not sure. I guess also depends on the state that you're in. And
Hmm.
there's different real estate schools. Some are online, some are in person. So I guess it really depends where you're at.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about that, you guys can reach out to me. I can put you in contact with other people that I know.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, let's see. I guess that's it. There's no more questions.
There's one
Ma-
more that I see here.
let's see.
Julie asks, my market is very competitive and even buyer's agent is giving commission. What is your take on it? I personally wouldn't do it, but that's your decision. I mean, if you are okay with doing that, uh, I don't know exactly how competitive it is. At the same time, there's so much work that we put into the work that we do representing a buyer. It's not like they're buying a cake, they're buying a big asset, and there's a lot of liability and responsibility on our end. So Julie, it's up to you if you want to give away your commission, or what it is. I personally wouldn't. when you say you get on the phones, what kind of leads or lists are you calling? I'm calling for sale by owners and expireds. You can go on my YouTube channel. You'll see all of the videos there that explain to you exactly what it is that I do and what I prospect. And hey, it's Rice. No, 38 is not too old to start.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. I know people in their 60s, late 60s. I mean, there's people in their 18, 19, 20. I mean, it's never too late. Ultimately, if you don't do it because of your age, it's just something that you have to work through, but it definitely shouldn't be something to stop you from actually doing it.
And actually, we get a lot of the question from people who are actually like around 17, 18, right? In the lunch and learn that we had yesterday, a lot of people say like, oh, am I too young to do this? So no, the answer is no. I mean, we're seeing a lot of young people who are 18, 19 getting a lot of deals. There's also a lot of people that are on the 30s, 40s also getting a lot of deals. So age means nothing, right? As long as you put in the time and put in the effort and you adjust, then you'll be just fine.
Yeah. All the questions are coming in now.
Oh, wow.
Emma says, my mentor had me working on lease contracts. Do you think it's worth it to spend time on that? On leases, I mean, I personally, the way that I feel regarding rentals and leases, I just feel it takes too much time from me, that I would rather put that time and invest it in prospecting for actual buyers or sellers that will give me a higher paycheck. Because there's a lot of time consumption that is involved with working with tenants and leases. I'm not sure if your mentor gave you those type of leads because you're new and they think that's how you should start. Ultimately, even if you're new, you can still go after listings. You can still go after luxury prices. I mean, there's really nothing that stops you.
Yeah, no, let me add to that. So as a new agent, we have a lot of people have that fear, right? I'm new. I should do what they tell me. I'm not going to go for listings. I was told that actually, if you have any listings, bring them to me. All right. I was told that once. And then, as I started learning, I started seeing like, what the hell? Like, this is a lie, right? Why would I give this person the listing when I can do it myself? Right? And I was just running around looking for buyers, which it should be the other way around. I believe, like, and based on some experience that I had, when you start prospecting for listings, for sellers, you're gonna come across buyers. So those are the buyers that actually I'm working with, that I was either doing an open house or I was making calls. Maybe I got the wrong number, or maybe they have already sold their house. Now they want to buy. Yeah. So those are the buyers I'm working with.
Robin asked, what's the average income in my experience between 1 to 3 years? I can't tell you exactly what the average agent makes in a year or two. I can tell you that after the first year, a lot of agents quit because they can't even close a deal. So there is no specific income that I can tell you. Some agents, their first year make close to 6 figures. Some barely make $10,000. I mean, it really depends on how much work each person is putting in, because the work that Adolfo puts in might be different than the efforts that I put in, than the efforts the next person puts in. And we may be all real estate agents in the business for 5 years, but we're all going to have different results. I have a certain set of skills that the next person might not have. People might like my voice better than other people. People might like me because I'm a woman versus somebody else. I mean, there's so many factors that contribute. You can't really put an exact figure or income on the year that you have been in the business, right? Do you agree, Adolfo?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and even so, let's say that someone is looking to replicate your schedule, right? They want to do the same prospecting that Loida does. I don't know, do the same YouTube videos. Even then, at that point, I know that they won't get the same results. And don't get me wrong on this. No, they may get better results, or they may get less results.
Exactly.
I mean, because not two people are alike, right? We don't talk, like when I call people, most of the time, I don't talk to the same people you talk to, right? And then maybe my first year, it's going to be bad. But guess what? My second year is going to be better. Or vice versa. Right? In your first year, it's going to be very good. And then you're going to have a few months, which has happened to me. I had like 2 months, I had no clients. But then all of a sudden, I got like almost 4 escrows going.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It happens. And then we can, all we have to do is just keep doing it. and don't be attached to the outcome. Don't be attached to one client because, as you mentioned, if that deal falls apart and you counting on that paycheck to pay your bills, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. Any more questions? No, nothing else.
Yeah, Julie is asking questions.
Let's see.
How do you get people to write reviews? Do you do it during the transaction? So I would do it at the end, right before you close, Julie, or maybe that same week if your sellers or your buyers are moving. If it's a seller that you're representing, perhaps that week before it closes, you want to go out and visit them and get a review. If it's a buyer, that same day that you give them their keys, you want to go ahead and get a review, whether it's maybe even a video testimonial. I would recommend for you to do that.
Those are better. Those are a lot better. I'm yet to do one of those, but every time I have a closing, I have actually an email template that I send them with different links that I have for Google, Facebook, Yelp, and Zillow. So I go ahead and tell them, write a review right here. So I actually send it that same day. Yeah. And sometimes they take a few weeks, but that's fine. So you want to ask that, like you said, Loida, maybe you want to ask before. Personally, I do the day off or a little bit after. Okay, let's see. I have another question for Jessica. How do you feel about wholesaling? Oh, okay. Well, it's the tricky one. You have to. I know people that do both, real estate and wholesaling. I guess you have to be good at wearing different hats in different situations because I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's a, how do you say this, Loida? There's a conflict of interest, right?
Yeah. And also, depending on the brokerage that you work for, some of them don't allow you to wholesale.
All right. Let's see. That's it.
FSBO, expired, door knocking, or open houses. I would say do them all.
Yep.
You can divide your time. Something that I tell a lot of agents is that you have to have different sources for where to prospect from. You can't just be relying on one source because you never know. You're cold calling expireds, but you might be getting more leads from just door knocking a neighborhood or going to an open house. I mean, if you can incorporate at least 3 or 4 different sources of where you can potentially get leads.
Yeah, from my experience, I can number from 1 to 4. I want to say number 1 is going to be door knocking. You're going to get a lot more contacts than calling. Okay, door knocking, expires, open houses, and for sale by owners because they're okay.
Yeah.
For sale by owners, you're not going to get the appointment on the spot. It's very rare. It hasn't happened to me yet. So, but door knocking and open houses are very fun, to be honest, because you get to talk to people face to face. They get your info, you get their info. And expires, and you know what they are. Just grab the phone and call. Something that not a lot of people like doing. No, it's not like every day I come to the office. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna call today. For 4 hours. No, I mean, it's something just part of the job. You gotta do it, and that's it.
Yeah. Regarding wholesaling, I know Myra asked, EXP doesn't allow you to wholesale, unfortunately.
Sorry, Myra.
Robin, guys, regarding making the jump from a typical 9 to 5 to real estate, I mean, you're not working 9 to 5 anymore. It's more like, I don't know, 7 to 11 at night. Your schedule, it's really going to be what you make of it. If you are putting in a lot of work, you might see results faster. But again, this is not a 9 to 5. There may be times that you're going to continue prospecting. I mean, I remember when I first started, there was one time that I told myself, today I want to make 100 contacts, which means talk to 100 people. And I prospected all day. I stopped around 2 o'clock. Then I started again around 5, and I didn't end until 8 o'clock because I told myself I am going to talk to 100 people today. And that last person, I think it was person 99, ended up being a listing appointment. So sometimes when you put in that effort, you start to see the results, but you have to be committed and dedicated to know that this is not like a regular job, and you can't be expecting a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Exactly. And also it could be the other way around. Remember, I was calling the first call, I got a listing appointment. So it could be the other way around. That doesn't mean that because you get a listing appointment on the first call, that
Hmm.
you're gonna stop calling. Just keep doing the same thing. Just write it down, cool, and keep on going,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly.
so it could be, you could be a call 99 and get a listing appointment, or be call number one, like happened to me, and get a listing
Yeah.
appointment. Or you can go calling all day and maybe not get anything, but guess what? The next day you're gonna get something. It happens.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's great, and everyone wants to get something every day, but it's not gonna happen all the time.
Hmm.
So.
And we'll answer this last question from Julie.
All
How do
right.
you handle clients that are unsatisfied with your communication style and expect you to report to them play by play? So this will come down to your standards and the expectations that are set up front. So if it's a buyer or a seller, when you first have that consultation or that meeting, you can explain to them, look, once we start working together, you can expect to hear from me every Friday at 2 o'clock with an update. If you don't hear from me, it's because I don't have anything new. So you want to set those expectations up front. That way they're not complaining or unsatisfied of your communication style.
I'm going to answer the last question about Ashley's asking if can introverted agents be successful? I mean, I'm not the most successful person here, but I used to consider myself an introverted person. To be honest, that's just a label. That
Mm-hmm.
right now I don't care anymore. I talk to people all the time. So it's more of I believe what's happening is that people are not comfortable talking to others.
Mm-hmm.
And once you, I guess, break out of that shell, you become a lot better. And as you mentioned, actually being a woman, being a lady, it's a lot easier because people don't reject you as much, or because when you go as a guy, you go door knocking, people may think that, oh, this guy's trying to rob us or something, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Call the
cops on me
cops.
the other day. But guess what? My partner that was working with me, she was just fine. Nobody called the cops on her, and we were on the same street. So that's just a label. So you just break out of your shell and start door knocking, or
Yeah.
cold calling, or just talking to random people on the streets, and you're gonna get better.
Hmm. And you know what? Technically, I tell everyone, me growing up, I was an introvert and I was shy and quiet. If you would have told me when I was in high school that I would be doing YouTube videos or going live on Instagram, I would have said, like, oh my God, that is crazy. I'm never going to do that. But here I am. And even making calls or doing things like this, um, what has helped me is, again, going back to the practicing, the role playing, knowing what to say, because once you know what to say and how to respond, then there's really no fear for you to be actually talking to strangers, because you know that you're there to deliver value and answer their questions, and you know that you are the best agent to help them. So that definitely helped me to kind of even get more out of my shell, to be making the calls and go door knocking, and that's exactly what I did. Yeah, knowledge is confidence.
That's
Exactly.
right. And maybe Loida and I can do another live about this. Just being introverted, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
The introvert real estate agent. So, all right, guys, that's it. So, episode number 5. Go check out my podcast, and we'll see you again next week.
Yes. Bye, guys.